Hi everyone, welcome to the Literature of the Southern Renaissance, English 6310. I'm Dr. Rit Mayer. I think most of you are new to me. There are only one or two that I've had in class before or I've talked to over email. So here I am, welcome. This is going to be a little bit strange for everybody. Taking a summer graduate class is always a little bit of a weird experience because it's a compressed timeline. You're only here for 8 weeks versus 15 or 16 or whatever it usually is. But it's still a graduate level class and you're still trying to get a good feel for the time period, which for us ranges from 1920 through about 1965. So it's going to be an abbreviated version. I just taught this class in the spring semester. I taught it kind of as a combined face-to-face and online class. So I'm including video clips from my lectures from the spring semester to kind of go along with the readings and our discussion board posts. I'm not going to go over the syllabus and the assignments because everything's already posted in Moodle. You can read the syllabus, read the assignment prompts, just make sure you do the discussion board posts on time, because if not, then we don't really get to have a class conversation. So it's really important to post your questions for everyone else by Thursday and then respond by Monday. If you haven't gotten the books yet, please let me know, because I should be able to get you copies of at least some of Go Down Moses, some of the story sections in Go Down Moses, to kind of set you up for the first week at least, because we're starting right away. We are only really looking at, what is it, five works, 4 novels, and a collection of short stories by Eudora Welty. No Flannery O'Connor. Much less Faulkner than I usually teach. What else did I cut? I cut Carson McCullers' The Heart is a Lonely Hunter. We're not doing Robert Penn Warren. I had to pare it down. But instead of sort of trying to cram things in and overload you, I just cut books. So the reading level, the reading load, the number of pages you're reading is the same as you would be reading in a regular semester. We're just going to get to fewer novels. So if you haven't read The Sound and the Fury or Absalom, Absalom, I highly recommend those. I'm happy to talk to you about those. You're welcome to write about them in comparison to Go Down Moses. Likewise, if you've read any other Faulkner, or if you've read other things by Richard Wright, if you've read novels by Eudora Welty, anything else by Tennessee Williams, you can always bring that stuff in. It's just the limitations of time and reality. But I think I've picked the best texts for us for this sort of shortened summer 8-week session. They're fairly accessible. I think I don't want to say they're easy to read, that's the wrong word. I guess accessible is the way to put it. I will say that we're going to be broaching all of the gruesomest topics of Southern history. So we'll be talking about lynching, we'll be talking about violence in the Civil Rights era, slavery and its aftermath, Reconstruction, issues with gender and sexuality, all of those fun things. So it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be a trip to the beach, but these are very, what's the word I want? They're texts that you get a lot out of. that you can really get a lot out of, especially if you haven't read them before, because I think a lot of people might read Native Son by Richard Wright, but they don't read Uncle Tom's Children, or they read Black Boy and not Uncle Tom's Children. Likewise, Go Down Moses is something you don't often get to unless you're in a seminar that's just on William Faulkner. So we're reading some of the less canonical or less taught texts, but they're definitely ones that are worth reading and reading again, and studying in depth. And I hope you get a lot out of the semester, even if we're only together for 8 weeks. And maybe if you're early in your program, you'll come back for more Southern literature in the spring, because in the fall I'm teaching a class on documentary, which you should all take anyway. Even if you've never thought about film before, it'll be a fun class. But if you're really into Southern literature, I'll be teaching that again in the spring, I believe. I can't remember which class it is right now. It might be contemporary. So we're going to start right off with Faulkner. What is the first section of Go Down Moses. If you're terrified of Faulkner, if you've never read Faulkner before, this will be, I think, a pleasant surprise, because you learn about Faulkner, you hear about his experimentation with language, with stream of consciousness, with multiple narrators and things like that, and most of the stories in Go Down Moses are a little bit more straightforward than what we might associate with Faulkner. But he's still dealing with the same themes of heredity and the Old South and history, family, race, gender. All of these things are part of Go Down Moses. So we're going to spend 2 weeks on Go Down Moses, 2 weeks on Uncle Tom's Children. Then we will do Eudora Welty's stories. Then Carson McCullers' The Member of the Wedding, which is in the collected works of Carson McCullers that I had you buy if you bought that specific ISBN number. I hope you did, because that's why I picked that one. So then we'll do Carson McCullers, and then Tennessee Williams' Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. And then the last week is kind of a short week, and you'll be workshopping your papers, your final essays together. So your main assignments for this class are the discussion board posts. You'll do an assignment, a presentation about Eudora Welty's photography in week 5, which we'll talk about later, and then a final 15 to 20 page paper, which is kind of standard for literature classes. We'll talk more about everything as it goes on. You'll meet with me over WebEx to talk about your paper topics, and then we'll set up kind of workshop groups so you can give each other feedback. If you have any questions, you can email me any time of the day. I am notoriously a night owl. I'm also happy to meet with you in WebEx anytime. I can meet during my office hours, which are Thursday nights from 7 to 10 p.m. Central Time. But I can also make other appointments. So that's all I've got for now. Time for you to start reading. Like I said, look for the videos or video clips. I'm not going to post the whole 3-hour lecture. Well, not lecture. I don't give 3-hour lectures. That's crazy. The 3-hour class meeting, I'm not going to subject you to that entire video. I'll kind of pick out the most important parts. So look for those under each week. And I will talk to you on the discussion boards. If you have any questions, let me know. Welcome to the class.